Hi, I'm Dr. Matt McClung. I'm the percussion professor at Texas A&M University in Corpus Christi. And I'm here at the Vic Firth studios, and we're going to talk about the four-mallet Etude. This year it is Kain by Mark Ford. And it's a great piece. I think it's a great starter piece if you're just starting out, especially with four mallets. It's a really great piece to play. He does a lot of good things in here. He separates out the hands. He has you play both double verticals and single verticals. He's very clear about what he wants in terms of dynamics, in terms of stickings. So I think it's a really great piece for somebody who's learning how to play four mallets. One of the tricky spots about this piece is the 7/8 measure in the second ending. Make sure you don't shift the beat at all, that you keep your quarter notes steady, and that will transfer you through. You start with off beats in your left hand and they turn into beats. Watch my video of the performance if that's unclear or confusing in any way, but there's that one bar of 7/8. It also makes it difficult to practice this piece with a metronome. You sort of have to practice it in two pieces, because if you're practicing the entire thing with a metronome, at some point the metronome is going to go onto off beats. But I recommend doing that section, that transition, without a metronome. Of course, you should practice the rest of the piece with a metronome. This piece has a lot of double verticals in fourths and fifths. I recommend that as a warm-up. Just in general, that should be part of your four-mallet warm-up routine. Some nice, evenly spaced double verticals in fifths and fourths. It's a great warm-up. Do it in all 12 keys. And this piece sort of encourages that. You've got to move around a little bit and do fourths, especially in your right hand, and just get flexible being able to put those fourths where you need them. So make sure that's your warm-up, is fourths and fifths. Quarter note triplets can be kind of tricky. Make sure you're not playing salsa music. Da, 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 da. That's a really groovy rhythm. It is not a quarter note triplet. If you're doing that groovy rhythm, that belongs in some other piece. Make sure you're being very strict about your quarter note triplets, which are da, 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 da. If you're confused at all, subdivide into eighth note triplets, and that'll help. Da, 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 da. As much as possible, practice this piece under tempo. I know you can feel pressure sometimes. A lot of times in high schools, you're practicing and other people can hear you, and you don't necessarily want to practice much slower than everybody else is practicing. And you hear Joe Schmo from across the room or in the next room, and he's playing really fast, and he started earlier, or he learned the piece quicker than you did. Don't feel pressured to practice faster than you're ready to practice. If you keep it slow all the way up until 2 weeks before your audition, 80% tempo max, I think that's fine. I think you're going to learn it faster, and it's going to be more solid, and it's going to have more right notes when eventually you do speed it up. So practice as slow as you can get all the right notes. Whatever that tempo is, even if it feels ridiculous, that's your tempo. Practice at that tempo. It'll get better faster. You don't have time to practice fast. If you practice slow, you're going to be quicker. For my recording of this piece, I used Vic Firth Van Sice M113s. Those are kind of my general go-to mallets for marimba stuff that's not too crazy hard and not too crazy soft. They're a nice middle ground, those M13s. Those M113s. Are sort of my go-to mallets most of the time. So that's what I used. I could see going to M114s depending on the sound of your marimba and if you're more comfortable with a little bit more of a firm attack. But for me, the M113s have kind of a special place in my heart. So that's what I used in this recording.